I want to thank everyone for being on the call today. And for those of you who have never met Steve Spiro, it's almost an impossible challenge to introduce him because he's so unique in so many ways. So I'm going to let him introduce himself, but just as sort of a lead-in, you know, I've been on the board working with Steve now for a couple of years. And, you know, what's been so interesting working with Steve is he himself, but also, you know, his vision of halotherapy and how incredibly committed and passionate he is about it. And then I think the other piece that's been interesting, separate from working with him, has been how my clients on my own projects have really been resonating with this opportunity, whether it's been a booth or a bed or even the mobile. So you know, it's been nice for me to be able to work with a client like Steve, but also be able to bring halotherapy to my other projects. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Steve to start.
Okay, thank you, Amy, for that wonderful introduction. And first, let me, again, like Amy said, let me thank you guys for taking the time out of your busy day to learn about halotherapy. For the next 20 minutes, I'm going to give you an overview of our company, our products, and show you why the growth rate of halotherapy has been so incredible the last 12 to 15 months. And at the end, I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. You can also email us or call us after the webinar. Well, my background, I started off in big companies, for 15 years. And then, yeah.
No, I'm just.
Yeah, can you hear me?
You're breaking up.
Well, okay, is it better over here? I just moved to a better spot. Can you hear me?
Yes, it seems to be better.
Okay, I have a little music in the background, so I apologize. But anyway, my background, I worked for, I said, 2 big companies, GE and Motorola, and then I went into the internet world early on in 1995 when there really was barely an internet. I helped launch a company that you guys may use or have heard of called Audible.com, the digital audiobook company. We wound up selling that to Amazon.com, which was great. I've done 6 to 7 other startups since, some very successful, some disasters, and I've learned from all of those, and I think it's kind of prepared me for getting into the health and wellness business. And one of the interesting things that I've learned from all my different ventures, I've always gone into different industries. And as soon as I get into an industry, I realized I need to partner with people. So when I got into the health and wellness spa space 3 years ago, when I started the company, I realized I needed lots and lots of, not lots and lots, I needed the best help. And that's kind of how I found Amy. I found her and I dug at her and I kept working it. It took probably a year for her to come on board, but she's become one of my best friends and a phenomenal business partner. So she's really helped me try to understand the spa industry, so it's been great. And again, just just before I get into the project, I just want to say that and Amy talks about. Well, I'll get into it. So around the world, from day spas to 5-star destination spas, halotherapy is really being added at a very fast rate. In just the last 6 months, we've seen some of the top hotel resort brands begin to offer halotherapy. Some of these include Fairmont, Four Seasons, Chablis, and Canyon Ranch, plus many more. So we're very excited about the whole growth rate we've seen, and we'd love to work with you guys to see how we can introduce halotherapy and global halotherapy solutions to your clients. Okay, on this next slide, you'll see that we're involved with many different vertical segments, and like I just kind of alluded to with Amy, I've really tried to make sure I get the best of the best in those verticals. So again, running our kind of spa relationship business, is Amy McDonald. You guys, I assume, know her for a long time. She's the best of the best in terms of being a partner and a person. So that's great. Next on my list is Franco Harris. I'm not sure how many of you are professional football fans, but Franco is one of the most famous players to ever play in the NFL. He won 4 Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a good friend of mine, and he's been very helpful in trying to penetrate the fitness and athletic vertical. The next name you'll probably recognize, the last name, Dr. Andrew Mayo. His great-grandfather started the Mayo Clinic. He's a doctor himself. And Andrew is helping us cross the chasm from the current kind of holistic community to the medical community. It's a tough challenge, but we're making some good inroads with pulmonologists and allergists, MDs, to try to help it get more accepted in the U.S. and around the world. The next one on my board is Lisa Semmerly. She worked for many, many years in the respiratory pharmaceutical industry. She was one of the top salespersons for an asthma drug, and she actually opened her own successful integrated wellness center 3 years ago. And halotherapy is and has always been a very, very big part of it. So she's extremely helpful in also talking to the medical community to help us getting more endorsed. And last but not least, Kathleen Sloninger is the executive director of the Michigan Asthma and Allergy Association. So I guess you can tell from all of these people that we're trying to kind of integrate, the medical community and have a more professional view of halotherapy than just some holistic approach. Let's talk about the benefits of halotherapy. So halotherapy is a scientifically proven drug-free treatment. Using modern technology with a halo generator at its core, the machine crushes pure pharmaceutical salt into micron-sized particles that are breathed deeply into one's respiratory system. Salt, biochemically is anti-inflammatory, it's super absorbent, and antimicrobial. Now think about how much better you feel when you're gargling with salt water or breathing in the air by the ocean. Dry salt therapy is really just an extension of that. And because the salt is dry, it goes even deeper into your respiratory system. We really see, three major benefits of halotherapy. The first one is respiratory health. And that's really divided kind of into an A and a B. So the A would be people with chronic or existing respiratory conditions. They could be seasonal allergies, it could be asthma, sinusitis, bronchitis, COPD. And it's also really good for people who frankly have healthier lungs. They just want to combat all the daily air pollutants that we are exposed to. We tend to refer to as kind of like a toothbrush for the lungs. The second big area is stress reduction. So not only through having better functioning lungs, but it's amazing when you just sit in a salt therapy session for 20 minutes to 45 minutes, when you concentrate on your own breath. It's just very, very powerful, and you go into a meditative state where you're just very, very relaxed, and it's great. And the third area, which I touched on before with Franco and other athletes we're working with, is fitness improvements. So we've seen many athletes improve their training regimens and their actual performances with a commitment to halotherapy as their lung capacity improves as measured by VO2 max. If you look at the next slide, besides respiratory, it also works great for skin conditions like psoriasis and eczema. These results that you can see is kind of a before and after with somebody that I met that was a professional woman golfer. And she had to give up the sport for a year or 18 months because she could no longer grip the club. And she went to literally every dermatologist, every doctor she could imagine, getting cortisone shots, creams, everything you could think of, and nothing really helped alleviate her very bad psoriasis. She went to a salt therapy place in Florida for 4 weeks, for 3 times a week, and it completely cleared up her inflammation. And that's what salt is. Salt just is, again, it's no magic. It's just the way the chemical works, with how salt works. It's just anti-inflammatory. That's what it does. So she was able to get her career back, and just a happy person now. Now she goes for maintenance maybe once or twice a month, and it's been fantastic. If you look at the next slide, you'll see somebody who you may know, Amy McDonald, talking about automated spa services, and she makes, even before I met her, she was making the point, and then my friend Mia Mackman from the Arizona Spa and Wellness Association says the same thing, that a few of the biggest issues in the spa industry is just labor, right? There just aren't enough people, the quality isn't good, and they obviously cost money and eat into profits. The beauty of having salt therapy, halotherapy, is that it's a great add-on because it's an automated spa service. Somebody sits in a salt room or a salt booth or a salt cabin or bed, and basically the attendant just presses a button and the service is administered, so there's no extra labor. So it's a great way to, it's basically, I like to say, the return on labor is kind of infinite because you have no extra costs. And with some of the new equipment that's available, and I'll show you some pictures of that, there's also zero to only a small amount of extra physical space is needed too. So again, the return on space is kind of infinite too. So it's just a great add-on that works. And I started talking about there's really 3 ways that halotherapy can deliver it. And again, the most important thing, there's a lot of confusion in the industry about what is salt therapy, but basically for all halotherapy, the core technology is a halo generator. Himalayan brick walls, Himalayan salt lamps are not halotherapy. They have some nice benefits as well with, negative ions, but they do not impact your respiratory system. They do not impact your skin condition at all. So again, we always say halotherapy means a halo generator. Our Halo FX, which is pictured there, is considered the leader in the industry since ours is the only halo generator that has gone through the rigorous quality and safety testing of Underwriter Laboratories. And for Europe, we also have CE approval as well. So we're the only halo generator that has both of those certifications. I mentioned that there were really 3 ways to get halotherapy delivered. Probably the most common over the last 5 to 8 years are salt rooms, salt caves, some people call them. It's typically 200 to 300 square feet room that are specifically designed for 6 to 10 people together to experience the treatment. Now, some of these can be very, very elaborately done, costing over $100,000. Others can be done at a lower cost. Some businesses love them, some don't, as they're very time-consuming to build. They can be very expensive, and they take up a lot of space. So a few years ago, the company and a couple of our competitors got into kind of what I would call pre-built enclosures. So instead of having the large expense of building out and designing a special room and the long time associated with that, especially given the need to protect the HVAC, the heating, ventilation, air conditioning system, we've come out with salt booths, salt beds, and with salt cabins. And this is really what most businesses buy now. Like the salt room is probably 25% of the business, and 75% tends to be these pre-built, just simple construction enclosures. So some people, and a lot of reasons why they're better. Not only is it better for them in terms of they don't have the expense or the space or the time to have to build out a room, their customer gets a very personalized experience. They're not surrounded by 6 to 8 other people coughing. And the session length, because the enclosure is so much smaller, is actually half the time. So for busy people that have 15, 20 minutes and don't necessarily have 45 minutes to 60 minutes, it's just much, much better for the customer. This first slide here shows our Halo Booth Pro, and it's our #1 seller. And it's now featured at JFK Airport at the Express Spa location, as they are a partner of ours. And the response has been great. People who get to an airport early, an hour and a half early, and they may have an earache or a cold or a headache, the last thing they want to do is exacerbate that problem by getting on an airplane with the air pressure. So they do a 20-minute session, and even after one session, it greatly alleviates the pressure in the ears and they're cold. And getting off of a plane, we've seen a lot of people use it too. You're sitting on a plane, you're breathing all that stale air, or the people next to you are coughing or hacking away. So it's been very, very successful. And Express Spa is going to be rolling out the Halo Booth Pro to many airport locations that they have around the country. And it's just been great for visibility. We have so many people that contact us now saying, hey, they saw our booth at the airport. How do they go into that business themselves? So I think what you're seeing over the last 12 to 18 months is not only an increase in the number of businesses offering it, but just the exposure. There's a lot more media about it, and it's a lot easier. It's much more kind of a symbiotic relationship between like spas offering it and consumers or their guests actually demanding that they offer the service. So we've seen incredible growth. The next slide is the Halo bed, and it's great for people who enjoy lying down on warm Himalayan salt. It's also great for people with skin conditions, as a partition allows the individual to keep their head outside of the enclosure, and by having that, the salt concentration can be increased to really address the skin inflammation. And the next to last slide is the newest of our offerings called the Halo FX Mobile, and it's great for facilities with limited space. It's very easy to wheel in and out, one of these new small mobile units, and it's a great add-on to an existing massage or facial treatment. So again, you don't need to have extra space. You just wheel it in and out, and you can charge extra money. And the attendant who's giving the facial massage, again, they basically just press a button, and you're making 30 to 50% more revenue per customer. So it's great. Again, the last slide, I just want to say thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And I also want to point out that there's a tremendous amount of research and media stories about halotherapy on the Global Wellness Institute website in the Salt and Halotherapy session. You can Google it, but it's basically globalwellnessinstitute.org, and you'll see the 20 initiatives that the Global Wellness Institute has. And I think the third or fourth one down is the Salt and Halotherapy section. So just a tremendous amount of information. And a lot of people always ask, is there research? Is there research? There's a lot of research, and we're developing some more research too. So basically, if you have any questions now, feel free to ask. If you have questions later, you can email us at either info@halotherapysolutions.com, or I'll be happy to, you can contact me directly at steve@halotherapysolutions.com. So again, thank you for your time, and we'd love you to get involved, and we'd love to figure out a way to work with you guys. So if anybody has any questions, please ask.
Amy,
Yes.
do you hear me? This is Kate. I wondered, just out of curiosity, what the range of pricing might be if it's in the Four Seasons and all the other, branded spas, what a typical session might look like in the Halo bed as far as timing and competitive pricing.
Well, so it's, and Steve, certainly feel free to pipe in. It's been, Kate, quite a range. I mean, some of the current clients tier it. So they have it, available for their members. So it's sort of an added value to their memberships. And then they will, and it depends on the piece of equipment, right? But we're finding somewhere between anywhere from $45 to $75. Typically about the range, and obviously it varies. We're seeing a lot of add-ons, so maybe they have an hour treatment and then they'll do a 30-minute session, but I would say between 45 and 75 is what we're seeing.
Yeah, and so I would say that's true, but for the bed, the booth, you really only need about 15-20 minutes. So some people are really just charging maybe $1.50 per minute. So we're seeing like $35 to $40 if somebody prefers to have faster turns. But again, in a nice spa, they're, like Amy said, they're typically 30-minute sessions, and they charge, probably $2 a minute. That's typically kind of where we see the average at.
Hi guys, this is Claire. With the Salt Cave, does the guest need to be in there longer than the 15 to 20 minutes?
Yes, so that's what I was alluding to before. That's one of the huge advantages of the booth, the bed, or the cabin, because it takes much longer for the salt to get into, to be totally penetrated or concentrated in the big salt cave. The salt cave is typically 45 minutes to an hour. And the booth and the bed are typically 15 to 20 minutes. So it's like a 2-to-1 or even a 3-to-1 kind of ratio.
Okay. Now, I know when I was talking with Susan Murray beforehand, you have systems to protect or convert the HVAC system if you're putting a salt cave into a renovated rather than a new build property, correct?
Absolutely. No, we take there's literally hundreds of salt caves in the U.S. now. So yeah, there's very, very specific guidelines. We have both in writing. We have, videos. We work with specific, contractors. We work very closely with Touch America. They're kind of our go-to. If somebody needs specific design, HVAC help, we work with them. Or Susanna has literally done probably 80 to 100 by herself. So she is very good at walking through the local contractor on how to. It's not hard. You just have to be careful putting in these dampeners. So it's not hard. Everybody does it. So.
Okay. Mm-hmm. In your kit, in your presentation as well with the Salt Cave, do you have guidelines regarding the furniture? Any specific things that can't be on that burner, be it electricals or finishes, from point of view of durability in that environment?
Yeah, and I don't have that right in front of me, but I'm happy to send that out to you guys. Susanna has a very specific list. Yeah, I mean the things that we tend to say are not a good idea are metal, because salt can be corrosive with humidity. So it's kind of like, I think Susanna refers to it as kind of like nice outdoor furniture, non-metal. So that's, I think we have a more specific, better description or list, and I'm happy to send that to you.
Is there any additional benefits? So let's say, for instance, I was putting a hardwired enclosed heated lounger into a salt cave. Is there any additional benefit to the fact that the body's being warmed up as they're breathing in the salts? Does that help the benefit, or is there no correlation?
Sorry, say that one more time. You're talking about a heated. Tell me about the heat again.
If we take a room and we put in heated loungers, which are hardwired, and they're generally covered with a mosaic, for instance, which is obviously it's warming the body just gently. Has there been research, or is there any correlation between like a heightened benefit of the fact that the body's got warm alongside the inhalation of the salt therapy, or has there been no kind of research into that?
So I would say there's been some research, and we're actually looking in our cabin and in our booth, adding a heated element for exactly like you said, for two reasons. One is from a skin perspective. If the skin is, let's say, not sweating, but somewhere between moist or a little sweat, it's easier for the salt to get deeper into the pores. So for skin,
I've lost him. Have I lost you all, or have I just lost him? Okay.
Can you hear me?
We lost you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so for the skin, for sure, if the skin is a little heated, then it definitely helps with the penetration of the salt. And we're also looking to add some heated element to the booth and cabin for the respiratory as well. So it definitely has benefit.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Can the top or the canopy on the halo bed be removed, and can that table be then used as a standard massage table?
So it can definitely be removed, the top. It's not really, I'm trying to think how it's set up. So you can basically, the way it's set up, there's two ways to lie on the bed. If somebody wants, most people have this Himalayan salt crystals that are warmed up. So most people lie on the Himalayan salt crystals to get the warmth again. Again, this is kind of back to your question about the heat. So heat is good. We also have, I would call them wooden planks that they can lie on. I don't know if either of them would be great for a massage. So I wouldn't.
The bed is too low.
Yeah, and the bed's too low. Yeah.
Yeah, but we are in conversation with the company to potentially do exactly that, Kate, and create a table that that could have all of the features of what Steve just talked about, but would be hydraulic, so that it could obviously be lowered, right? Because it's easier for guests to get on it, but it would be the dimensions of a traditional massage table.
Right,
that would be really great. That would really make it a lot easier to get
Well, from
investors
a
signing off on.
yeah, from the standpoint of utilization of a treatment room, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And would make it really unique as well. I mean, there's quartz beds out there, but to have that additional benefit would be really cool.
Agreed.
Mm. Great.
That was all the questions I have. It was really helpful.
I'm so glad that you were able to make the call today. And Claire, I can certainly, I'm happy to send you more information as well. I know Steve's going to follow up. The other piece is we also have protocols in particular that we're launching right now, just because some spas, right, it's really helpful to have breathing exercises that can be used whether you're in the bed or in the booth or obviously on the table. And then we actually have put together massage and facial protocols that really will support the mobile also. So those are, some of the support pieces that we have. Separate from, having design and technical support, we also have the softer elements with protocols.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes, please send them over. I mean, we've spoken a few times with projects and trying to get this in. We do hit brick walls every now and then, so anything you've got would be great.
Okay. Yeah, certainly feel free to reach out to us.
Absolutely.
Did we lose you, Steve?
Nope, I put myself on mute, but it's all good.
So quiet without you.
I know. I can tell jokes for another hour if people want to talk. Now,
want to share with the group where you are?
Yes, I'm in a remote island off the coast of Bali, celebrating the Muslim holiday of Ramadan with about 8 million Muslims and me. I'm the only Westerner on the island.
Ah, Eid Fateh, yes. Is it the
So
last day? Big part?
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. So kind of what Amy was talking about, the passion. So I actually moved to Asia about 6-8 months ago, and I plan on living here for somewhere between 2 years and 50 years, depending on how long I live. I'm 86 years old now, so I'm hoping that all that holistic wellness here will help me. But I recognize just unbelievably horrible air pollution in places like China, India, Vietnam, Thailand. And I really want to make a difference to help people breathe better, both from a business perspective and kind of like the company mission to just help people live longer and healthier. So I've committed to spreading the word about halotherapy around the world. We have some incredible distributors in China now. The business is booming. So we really want to turn it into this a major, global business. We just help my mission now is just to kind of help the world. My two goals are to be friends with Amy and help the world breathe better.
Good goals to have, I say.
Yeah. So if any of you guys are ever out in Asia, I'm happy to show you guys around.
Thank you,
Steve.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna sign out. Thanks so much, everyone. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, everyone. I'm going to jump off as well.
Thank you, Claire, so much. It was lovely to hear your voice.
And you guys. And thank you for organizing this. Much appreciated.
Well, thanks to Michelle and Lisa Starr. Yep.
No problem on our end. We were happy to help.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody.